Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield, and I'm the Get Fit Guy. Have you ever finished a long day of work and just felt too tired to go to the gym and exercise? How about frustrated by feeling as though you simply can't stay fit, gain muscle, or lose fat because you're sitting at a desk in your office all day? The fact is, just because you're at work all day doesn't mean you can't stay fit and trim. You just have to make simple lifestyle and work habit adjustments. So, in today's episode, you're going to get 4 ways to stay fit in your office, along with my top corporate wellness and workplace fitness tips, and learn how to create a physically active workplace. Let's look at what happens when you can't exercise at work. The cost of an inactive or sedentary workforce is significant. Businesses lose an estimated $61.2 billion annually due to preventable employee illnesses, and slowdowns or lost productivity caused by illness on the job may account for up to 60% of employer health care costs. And illness isn't the only variable affected by physical fitness, or lack thereof. Injuries matter too. According to the Wellness Council of America, lower back injuries alone cause employees to miss nearly 100 million workdays annually. Of course, these may just seem like corporate bottom line figures to you, and ultimately, I bet you're far more concerned about not growing a big bottom at work than you are about improving the company's bottom line, even though that's important too. So, let's jump in and learn how you can stay fit in your office without having to actually step out and drive to the gym. Number 1, a standing workstation. When you stand, you not only upregulate your metabolic rate, but you increase the activity of fat-burning enzymes. In addition, if you're sitting continuously for 2 hours or longer at the office, research has shown that you're going to have a higher risk of chronic disease, including obese and overweight, no matter how much exercise you get when you finally leave work. With the advent of standing workstations like the Up Desk or treadmill desks like the Trek Desk, and a variety of standing workstations that you can literally buy right on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the show notes, there's no excuse for not finding a way to be productive at work. Even if you don't get a fancy standing workstation, the minimum you can do is something like I've done and simply find a surface in your office, such as a cupboard or cabinet that's high enough to put a laptop or a desktop on. I'm going to link in the show notes to a special article that I wrote over on my blog at bengreenfieldfitness.com about ways that you can decimate calories by using a standing workstation. And of course, you can stand also when you're talking on the phone, in meetings, while eating, and whenever possible. I also wrote an article called 7 Ways to Burn More Calories by Standing More, and there are some more practical tips and surprising benefits of standing in that article. So all those links I just mentioned, you can grab over at getfitguy.quickanddirtytips.com. Now, number 2 is portable exercise equipment. I personally have a small closet in my office, and I've managed to stuff an entire home gym into it, all for about $200. Here's what I have in my office gym. 2 dumbbells for presses, curls, squats, and deadlifts, for example. 1 gym stick, which is a special aluminum tube with 2 elastic bands coming off of it that you can do a variety of exercises with. 1 Performer set. And Performer, which you can check out over at performer.com, are these special handles that can be used for push-ups, flies, abdominal exercises, squats, and a bunch of other exercises. It's one of my favorite new exercise tools. Next, I have a Fit 10, and this is just a special device that literally lets me attach an elastic band to my doorknob and sprint in place with only about 3 feet of space. Next, I have a suspension trainer, which I can also attach to the door or the ceiling and do rows, curls, or suspended exercise. And finally, a yoga mat, so I don't sweat my office floor, which is carpeted, and create a big stank. So sure, you could join a health club or have a fancy gym built at your corporation, but having simple and cheap exercise equipment only a few feet away from your workstation, like I do, vastly increases your chances of squeezing a quick workout in here and there. Now, you can have just one piece of equipment, but the reason I include so much variety is because I get bored easily with using the same piece of exercise equipment day after day, and frankly, everything I just described fits into one small box. Number 3 are reminder apps. And there are literally dozens of phone apps and computer apps that will remind you to either exercise or stretch at regular intervals. Here are some good ones. iLeo. This take a break tool lets you rest your eyes and forces you to exercise or stretch by disabling your computer screen for a specified period of time. That's spelled EYELEO. Another one is called Work Rave, and this is a tool that forces you to take micro breaks, long breaks, and even limit your daily computer usage while also offering a selection of exercises you can do during these breaks. Another one is Big Stretch Reminder, which allows you to design breaks exactly how you want them by specifying intervals, tells you what the breaks are for, gives you the option to set your level of intrusiveness, and more. That's Big Stretch Reminder. Another one is PC Work Break, and this is a reminder that encourages you to take micro breaks, stretching breaks, eye exercises, and even walks. There's also Evo, that's EVO, which is a web-based break software that allows you to select from 3 different ways to reduce eye strain. Now, there are a variety of other apps that are out there. I know that many of you listeners actually use such apps, so you can always leave your favorites in the comments section over at facebook.com/getfitguy. And then finally, we have body tracking devices. And when it comes to quantifying your activity, there are a ton of devices out there that will track your hours of sleep, your heart rate, your oxygen levels, your perspiration, your respiration, calories burned, steps taken, distance traveled, and more. And by keeping track of any of these variables, you can inspire yourself to move more and even engage in contests and social accountability activities with others. For example, there's one device called a biofeedback device called an EM Wave 2. And what it does is it teaches you how to facilitate a state of de-stress, what they call coherence, and enter into your zone. Basically, when you use the EM Wave 2 for a few minutes each day, it teaches you how to transform feelings of stress, anger, anxiety, or frustration that you might experience at work into peace and clarity, which is great for de-stressing. And stress is certainly linked to injury, illness, and a lack of motivation to exercise. But the EM Wave 2 is large, and you can't really place it discreetly in your pocket or take it with you on a run, for example. So there are other devices that do something similar and track even more than the EM Wave 2, like one called the Zensorium Tinky, which you can check out over at zensorium.com. And this is a small iPhone-compatible device that can take your morning resting heart rate, your breath rate, your heart rate variability, your pulse oximetry, and more. Then there's another one called the SweetBeat HRV system. And for this one, you need a special phone app called the SweetBeat phone app, a chest strap, and a wireless adapter that can attach to your phone. And this allows you to track your heart rate in real time, as well as your heart rate variability, like when you're out on a run. It's also something you can use with meals to test food sensitivities by tracking the way that your heart rate responds to foods. And there are other wearable units you can clip to your body throughout the day, like the Jawbone Up or the Fitbit, which measures sleep, movement, and calories burned. There's also the new MyBasis watch, which is a device that measures motion, perspiration, and skin temperature, and captures heart rate patterns throughout the day and the night. So as you can see, the sky's the limit when it comes to quantifying your workplace activity. You can take the data that you collect on your activity levels from any of these devices and upload it to any number of websites that'll help you keep track of your activity or compare it to others, like Fitocracy.com, MyFitnessPal.com, TrainingPeaks.com, DailyEndorphin.com, or FitFeud.com. I know all this might sound exhausting to keep track and use all these different websites, but ultimately, once you find one tool that you can use to keep track of your activities and one website that you can easily load things up to, it becomes quite easy. So let's summarize. We started by talking about the costs of workplace illness and injury, and you already know you're going to burn significant calories, make a serious dent in your waistline, and stay trim, fit, and full of energy with the tips I just gave you. So let's finish with the reward for implementing these office fitness strategies. Think about it this way. Every dollar invested in workplace wellness yields a $3 to $6 return on investment. And employees actually want this stuff. In fact, 78% of employees say they're interested in a company-sponsored wellness program. And 60% of workers considered health and wellness programs an incentive to stay on the job. One good example of how these measures can make a company more money is the DuPont Corporation, which decreased disability days at its Tennessee plant by 14% after instituting a wellness program. And this saved DuPont about $120,000 each year. As you can imagine, when you combine the individual happiness of you getting fit and having more energy with the corporate happiness of a financially healthy company, not stressed by injuries and illness, you've got a win-win situation. So if you have more questions about how to stay fit at your office, then post them over at facebook.com/getfitguy. And until next time, I'm the Get Fit Guy asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.